You step into the crowd, and immediately something changes. The air becomes thicker. Not physically, but mentally. Shoulders brush against yours. Voices overlap into a single unstable hum. Someone laughs too close to your ear, and it feels invasive. Your heartbeat accelerates without permission. You look for an exit, even though nothing is wrong. No threat, no danger, just people. But your body disagrees. Why does a harmless crowd feel like a trap closing in around you? As if your nervous system is screaming, "Get out now," even when logic says stay. And more importantly, what if this reaction is not random at all? What if your mind is remembering something you don't consciously? Some people thrive in crowds. They feel alive in them, energized, invisible in a comforting way. But others feel hunted inside them. A mall, a concert, a busy street, even a classroom or elevator. It's not just discomfort, it's psychological suffocation. So why does the human mind break like this in crowded spaces? Why do some brains interpret density as danger, even when there is none? Psychologists have studied this for decades, and the answer is far more disturbing than simple shyness or introversion. Because in some cases, this fear of crowds is not about people at all. It's about control, memory, and a primitive survival system that refuses to shut off. To understand it, we have to go deeper into the architecture of fear itself. Segment 1, the primal brain that never left the jungle. Long before cities, elevators, and subway trains, the human brain evolved in open landscapes. Danger was simple. A rustle in the bushes, a shadow moving too fast, a distant snap of branches, and the brain developed one mission: detect threat instantly or die. At the center of this system is the amygdala, an almond-shaped structure deep inside the brain responsible for detecting fear and triggering survival responses. The amygdala does not ask questions, it reacts. Now imagine placing that ancient system into a modern environment it was never designed for. Hundreds of bodies moving unpredictably. Unknown voices, sudden touches, blocked exits, limited space. To a rational mind, it's normal, but to the amygdala, it resembles something else entirely. A containment scenario, a loss of escape routes, a potential ambush environment. This is why even harmless crowds can trigger the same neural circuitry as danger. Heart rate spikes, breathing shortens, muscles tense. The hypothalamus activates the fight or flight response, flooding the body with adrenaline and cortisol. And suddenly you are not thinking anymore, you are surviving. A study published in Environmental Psychology found that increased population density can elevate cortisol levels even in non-threatening conditions. The body, it turns out, does not distinguish between social congestion and physical threat very well. But that's only the beginning, because for some people, this reaction goes deeper than biology. It becomes psychological conditioning. Segment 2, when the mind learns to fear space itself. Not everyone who fears crowds was born with that fear. Many learned it, quietly, repeatedly, without realizing it. The brain is not just reactive, it is predictive. It builds maps of danger based on past experiences. If someone once got lost in a crowded market as a child, if someone experienced panic, humiliation, or separation in a dense public space, if someone felt trapped even briefly, the brain records it, not as memory alone, but as threat association. The hippocampus, responsible for memory formation and spatial awareness, links the environment with emotional intensity. When that environment is a crowd, the association becomes powerful. Crowd equals loss of control, crowd equals danger, crowd escape failure. And once this mapping is formed, the brain does not easily erase it. Even if years pass, even if logic matures, even if the person consciously knows they are safe, because the emotional brain speaks louder than reasoning. This is where the prefrontal cortex tries to intervene. It says, "You are fine, there is no threat." But the amygdala replies, "I don't care. I remember something else." And in that internal conflict, anxiety is born, not as imagination, but as neurological disagreement. There is also something darker at play. Crowds remove individuality. In a dense space, you are no longer a person. You are a unit in a system. Psychologists call this de-individuation. When identity weakens, the brain becomes hyper-aware of vulnerability. You are no longer controlling your environment. You are being carried by it. This is why crowds can feel like waves, not of people, but of force. And if you resist that force internally, the mind interprets it as danger increasing. So the anxiety grows, quietly, relentlessly, until escape feels like the only option. Segment 3, the case of crowd-trapped minds. There are documented psychological case patterns of individuals who experience intense crowd aversion without classic phobias like agoraphobia. One phenomenon is situational panic in dense environments, where individuals report sudden fear spikes in places like metro stations, concerts, or shopping centers. One subject in a behavioral study described it like this: "It feels like the air is being removed slowly. I know I can breathe, but my body disagrees." This is crucial, because the body is not responding to oxygen deprivation. It is responding to perceived entrapment. Neuroscientists studying panic disorder have observed hyperactivity in the amygdala combined with reduced regulation from the prefrontal cortex during crowd-triggered episodes. This creates a feedback loop: fear signal, body response, increased fear interpretation, amplified body response. A loop with no natural exit until physical escape occurs. In extreme cases, this overlaps with social anxiety disorder, but crowd-specific fear often has a distinct pattern. It is not fear of judgment. It is fear of spatial confinement. Even socially confident individuals can experience it. One urban psychology experiment showed that when participants were placed in progressively denser environments, cognitive performance dropped while stress markers increased, even when they were told the situation was safe. Safety, it turns out, is not always what the nervous system believes. There is also an evolutionary theory. Crowd aversion may be a misfiring of ancestral survival coding. Being surrounded by unknown groups once meant potential tribal threat. Encirclement meant danger. So the brain may still interpret surrounded as trapped by potential threats, even when the modern crowd is harmless. And this is where the illusion becomes complete, because the fear is not of people, it is of being unable to predict them. Unpredictability, to the human brain, is a form of danger. This is closer to you than you think. You might be listening and thinking, "I don't have a fear of crowds." But pause for a moment. Have you ever avoided a busy place without a real reason? Have you ever felt irritated in a packed room for no clear cause? Have you ever suddenly wanted to leave a gathering the moment it became too loud, too dense, too unpredictable? That is not necessarily a disorder. That is your nervous system negotiating control. Even mild discomfort in crowds can reflect the same underlying mechanisms, just at a lower intensity. Because this isn't only about fear, it is about sensory overload. The brain is constantly filtering information: faces, voices, movement, distance, sound, touch. In crowded environments, that filter becomes overwhelmed. The question that does not leave you. The most unsettling part is not that crowds can trigger fear. It is that your brain does it without asking you. No permission, no warning, no explanation in the moment. Just a shift from calm to escape. And once you understand this mechanism, something changes. You begin to notice it. The tightening in your chest at a packed station, the urge to step away from dense gatherings, the silent scanning for exits you didn't consciously decide to look for. But here is where the real mystery begins. If the amygdala is this sensitive to crowd density, if memory, prediction, and survival coding all overlap in these moments, then what exactly is your brain still trying to protect you from? Because not every crowd-induced fear is irrational. Sometimes it is the echo of something older, something deeper, and that is why you need to watch the next video.